In this episode of Civilized Eatin', I'm going to show you how to make homemade croutons. Perfect in salads, soups, or just for snacking. They're so easy. Come on, let me show you how. Hi, my name is Terry Santra and I am the head mousse at Purple Mousse Designs. And today we're going to be making homemade croutons. They are so simple. So the first thing we need to talk about is bread. So I make a lot of bread. I also purchase bread. And what I do is when I get down to the end, like the heel, I'll chop that up. If there's sometimes when you buy certain kinds of bread like sourdough, you get down to the end and there's those tiny little pieces. Chop those up and I put them all into a bag labeled Future Croutons, and I throw this in the freezer. When it gets full, it's time to make croutons. For me, it's the more the merrier. The more different kinds of breads you have in here, perfect. If you don't have one of these bags of future croutons hanging around, you can go to your local supermarket and go into the day-old bread section and find some different ones there. White bread, sourdough, marble rye, any of those or all of those are perfect for this. What you want is day-old bread. You don't want fresh bread. You want it old. Not to the point of being moldy, but you just want old bread, stale bread. So the first thing we're going to do is take our pan here. And pro tip here, cover this with foil. It'll make cleanup so much easier later. So cover this with foil, and we're just going to spread some of these bread cubes around. Oh, it looks like we have cornbread in here too. That ought to be fun. And see, we have some rye down here on the bottom, or wheat, something looks like rye. I like the variety of the different kinds, and these are all just in big chunks. And you want a single layer. You don't want them on top of each other. Don't worry about if they're stuck to each other. These are frozen. They're right out of the freezer. So we're not going to do anything to these at the moment other than stick them in the oven. I have it at 375. And we're just going to dry these out. We're going to thaw them out and dry them out. It's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes, so I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes or so. All the bread is ready to go. I did halfway through, stirred it, mixed them up a little bit. So as you can see, they're toasty on the outside, but they're still soft, all of them. So what we're going to do now is create what we're going to coat them with. So I have, that's for one sheet pan full of bread. I have a stick of butter that's all melted. So you want to get the biggest bowl you have. And we're going to put that in there. I'm going to put in some onion powder and garlic powder. Just kind of sprinkle some over the top of the butter. If you're not comfortable with creating your own spices, you can use like ranch or Italian dressing mixes. Just use one packet for that. So this one is paprika. This is half sharp paprika. So regular paprika really doesn't have any heat to it. That has just a little bit, not a whole lot. And then we have some black pepper. I'm not going to add any salt because we're going to be adding a whole lot of cheese, Parmesan cheese. So we'll give this a mix. Get all the spices wet and evenly distributed. And then we're going to add our cheese. So I grated up some Parmesan and Asiago cheese, and I have it's about 50-50, about a cup of each. It's a lot of cheese. So if you're using cheese that you grate yourself, When you get down to the end and you have these little rinds, don't throw these away. Put these in the fridge. They'll last for a long time. And then when you make soup, you toss these into the soup and they will flavor the soup. Don't waste them. So we're going to put all this cheese into the bowl. And we'll mix that up. So now we have this big gloppy mess, which is exactly what we want. So now we're going to put our bread in. Put this back on the pan. And we're just going to mix everybody together. So the butter and the cheese will stick to the bread. Just want to mix it around, make sure everybody's happy. Now once you've made these, oops, we have a runner. Once you've made these, they'll keep for about a week in a airtight container, zip top bag or Tupperware. But I find that they usually don't last a week. All right, so now we're going to put these back in the pan. And get all that goodness out of there. And spread it all out. That looks pretty good. Then we're going to put this back in the oven for just a few more minutes. Well, I'll see you in a couple. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. You can probably go up to about 15 minutes. Let's pull out our croutons and see how we're doing. Well, these are looking pretty good, so they've gotten a little bit crispier. That looks pretty good, actually. I'm pretty good with that. So what we want to do now is, while they're still warm, put them back into the bowl and redistribute all that cheese and butter and, oops. And just get all this off the foil. Ow. Alrighty, so let's mix that around again, and there you go. You have croutons. As they cool, they will harden up a little bit, so you want to do them like just shy of where you want them to be, because they will stiffen up and harden up a little bit. So let's see what we got here. Got all the different flavors, different kinds of breads. And some of the cheese doesn't stick, but that's okay. That just adds a little crumblies in there. So there we go. Aren't those great looking? That'll be great for on top of a salad, throw them on top of soup, or just snack. Thanks for watching. Be sure and hit like and subscribe so you can hear about future episodes. And I'll see you in the next one. Maybe we'll make some soup to put these on. See ya.